Hello and welcome to episode 75 of the Fish Tank. This one's coming from a field, and just behind me, over my right shoulder, I have Keppel's column, just appearing over my right shoulder. It's 50 metres high apparently, about 5.4 metres in diameter, and it was built for Admiral Keppel in the 18th century, designed by the local architect John Carr, who did a lot of work for the Earl Fitzwilliam and the Marquis of Rockingham and various other people who you've probably never heard of, but they are apparently important in the local history of this area. So there you go. It's not quite Nelson's column, but it's good nonetheless. Not really sure what purpose it serves other than just to be there. I think it might have been used as a bit of a lookout, perhaps. Not sure. So 75, an important number, I think. I think you get a free TV license once you get to the age of 75. So if the Fish Tank want to have a TV, it'll probably get it for free. So there you go. So anyway, it's time for Apology of the Week. Anyway, and on last week's show, my Coldplay CD was broken by Jimbo. As a result, Jimbo is going to do Apology of the Week. So Jimbo, you broke my Coldplay CD last week. What are you going to say?
Sorry.
It's a good CD, isn't it, actually? Coldplay CD.
Sort of.
Have you actually heard the CD?
No, just presume it might be a bit depressing.
Right, anyway, on to what else has been happening this week. Well, I asked you to get in touch with various tennis players' chat-up lines, so I've got a list of them here. Solway said, Kenny Cat, because there's some balls coming your way. Other ones we had was, that will get your juices flowing. I'd like to enter you in the mixed doubles. Do you grunt during your service? Feel free to have a banana when we change ends. And where's the members' entrance? Could be used at Wimbledon.
And also, why shouldn't you go out with a tennis player?
Yes, and also why shouldn't you go out with a tennis player?
Because love means nothing to them.
Because love means nothing to them. Good joke, Jimbo. Well done.
It's from one of your viewers, actually. You should have looked at it.
Oh, right. Who put that?
Goz or something.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Thanks for that, Goz. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to see that one. Didn't check for a couple of days. So thank you very much. So that was, why shouldn't you go out with a tennis player because love means nothing to them? Thank you very much, Goz. I hope you're well because I've not seen you for a few weeks. So also the stethoscope was released onto Jimbo Studios, which had basically was used to have a go at me. In many respects, you know. Said the fish tank was boring. That's not fair. And also, it talks about cricket players and sex and fetishes and stuff like that. What's wrong with cricket players? I'm sure we're very good lovemakers. We're prepared to spend a lot of time at the crease, you know. We like long partnerships. We're not afraid to stay there overnight. We like getting in the corridor of uncertainty, that kind of thing, you know. It's unfair. So anyway, what's been going on this week anyway? The Euro 2008 finished the other day. And, well, England weren't in it, so which meant that there was no bias towards other countries with England being in it. We could take a neutral opinion. And it was great to see Spain beat the Nazis in the final. Sorry, Germans. Sorry about that. Germans in the final. And without England in it, the tournament was actually quite entertaining, had good football, no crowd violence, that kind of thing. So it actually made for one of the best Euros ever, I suppose. Think about it. I did watch the... I can't remember which game it was now, but there was a thunderstorm during one game, and the TV pictures actually cut out, and instead they were replaced with radio commentary, which, you know, I mean, what's the point in buying a 32-inch flat screen HD TV if all I'm going to do is listen to the radio on it? It was great, and apparently even on the iPlayer, it still cut out and put the commentary in off the radio. So there you go. And what else has been going on this week? Well, the NHS is 60, apparently, and as a result, they had a interview with a doctor who's been treating people for 60 years. I mean, let's be honest, if you've been treating people for 60 years, I mean, you're going to go and see the doctor, you're probably going to think the doctor probably is more elderly and frail than you are. I mean, I saw him the other day, and he was talking about the old-style medicines where, you know, they got delivered to you like basically a paper boy. So that was that. So anyway, what else is going on? Oh, actually, I was just about to do airline week because I saw something the other day to do with a trial in Australia. A person was in court And what happened was the judge stopped the trial because apparently all the people on the jury got bored and started doing a Sudoku. I mean, how dull must the trial be if instead of actually listening to what the people are saying, you decide to put the numbers 1 to 9 in a small grid? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Sudokus. I hate people who think it's actually maths, because it's not. Maths is like quite complicated, and you've got to do large equations. You don't just go fiddle around with numbers. I suppose it's lucky for the person who was in the dock that they were playing Sudoku and not Hangman, but there you go. So anyway, it's time for the celebometer now anyway. And who would I like on the show? Well, talking about old people and GPs, and also a column, Nelson's column, I'd like Nelson Mandela on the show. Because it was his 90th birthday the other day, and they had a 90th birthday celebration. I mean, when I'm 90, I'd like to think we could perhaps have like a small buffet at the local bingo hall or something. Instead, what he got was a rock concert in London. So he said to him, "Oh yeah, Nelson, we've laid down a bit of a spread for you. I know you're 90 years old. You're perhaps a bit old. You don't really like loud things. It's all right. Just got a pop concert on the way for you. And also, I know you can't really travel far nowadays, but it's in London. So there's not a lot of effort that's gone into that. And it's not even his birthday yet. That's in a couple of months. That's like in about a month's time. So there you go. It sounds a bit harsh. So he's been quite busy actually, Nelson Mandela, because he's just opened up his own range of cooked meat stores that he calls the Mandelicatessen. So, dear God, that's a terrible joke, isn't it? Sorry about that. I'm not sure how I can top that in terms of bad jokes. It's in direct competition with a cheese sellers from Jerusalem that's called Cheeses of Nazareth. There you go. That's that joke topped. So it's time for headline of the week now anyway. And this one comes from a travel guide. And it's talking about the Isle of Wight. And it says, "I went on holiday to the Isle of Wight 15 years ago and I caught crabs." So very nice. Obviously been in the rock pools, or instead been boogieing around in at the Isle of Wight's one nightclub probably. I'm guessing it's probably got one nightclub. Not renowned for its nightlife or young people. So there you go. Perhaps if it had gone to the NHS doctor, then which at that point had been presumably running for 45 years, then it could have been cured. And quote of the week this week comes from Andy Townsend, where he says, "The defender was literally up Jan Collar's backside." I'm hoping he wasn't literally up Jan Collar's backside, certainly not in the middle of a football game. I suppose it brings a new meaning to the phrase tackle from behind, but there you go. I mean, why? I hate it when commentators do that, have the word literally. It's like people say, "Oh, I'm literally over the moon." Well, you're not, unless you're an astronaut, because you're metaphorically over the moon, as I'm sure the defender was metaphorically up Jan Collar's backside. So there you go, that's all for this week's show. And I hope, if you're going on holiday soon, which I know some people are, including Jimbo himself, but there are people in his house, so don't burgle him, have a good holiday. And before I go, apparently I'd like to say that the campaign for noise haters had a street collection to raise money the other day. Unfortunately, it was very unsuccessful. They collected absolutely nothing because they refused to rattle the collection tin to attract people's attention. So there you go, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.